Hello and welcome back to another episode of my Eruption of Shame. Today we have March 2025 games, and we have an odd-looking Humble Bundle here from the first look here, because this game right here, Pacific Drive, yeah, it looks pretty good, but interestingly enough, it doesn't really seem to fit the general thing of being a spotlight. Generally, a spotlight game is like relatively expensive, and I guess it is if you count its DLC, which is also included, which is nice, but it really doesn't feel like, to me, like a spotlight game. It just feels like a, I don't know, to be honest. It's a driving game, apparently. You drive through a post-apocalyptic world and try to survive. So, I mean, it sounds fun. Probably one of the more fun-sounding games in this bundle. But in general, yeah. The next one you would expect would be more a headliner title, which is Homeworld 3, a $94 game, which is unfortunately mostly negative. Not only is it mostly negative, but they're not hiding that fact either. Like, usually they'll choose, sometimes I've noticed them choose the best rating, which would be mixed right now, because currently it's mixed, but no, this is all reviews mostly negative. So, they're not even hiding the fact this game isn't very good. And here it is, being given to us in the humble choice. It does increase the value of the humble choice, which is probably what they want, but it does feel like it is not exactly necessarily the best choice. Personally, I've never actually played the homeworld titles, but this one in particular is meant to be rather tedious and have a lot of micro in all the worst ways. So there's that. Next, we have Wild Hearts, and this is probably the first one which looks really interesting to me, but even it is only mixed. Granted, it could just be a fact of, it's a very expensive game, and people may not think it's worth the money. But yeah, it looks interesting. I have no idea if it is or not, but much I pay for it with $100. With a Humble Bundle, than paying $100 for it. So that's something at least. But basically, yeah, it looks like an RPG. It looks like it's got some interesting story elements to it. I don't know if it'd be any good, but it certainly seems like it's one of the more highlights for me in this bundle currently. And the downside is it says get on Origin. No one wants it on Origin. Like, what? We want it on Steam, guys. In fact, there's actually a couple of games on Origin. Oh no, I didn't notice that on my first go through. Tales of Kenzera Zor, another very positive game. Looks fairly interesting. Another one on Origin only, which will be a deal breaker for a lot of people. And Gravity Circuit, a Steam one at least. This one is actually overwhelmingly positive. It's relatively cheap. I've never heard of it before, but it looks sort of like similar to a lot of those Game Boy Advance style, Super Nintendo style, platformer adventures or things. Now, the question is it very true to form, or does it have modern touches in terms of progression and such? I hope it has a lot of secrets, because that's what I loved about these sort of platforms. I sucked at them, but I still love them. Then we have Sir Whoopass, Immortal Death. Now, this one has been given in other bundles before. How do I know that? Because I already own it, and it doesn't seem like something I'd buy myself. It just seems like a crazy multiplayer madness sort of thing, but is it going to be any good? I don't know. I mean, it's been rated well, but that could just be because of its multiplayer effects. Still, it's not that expensive, and if you haven't heard of it before, I guess it's okay for this half of the bundle. Then we have Racine. Another, it looks like roguelike with that little element there. It's actually an auto battler, which is closer to, it's almost closer to an idle game in a lot of ways. But I mean, if it's good, it's good. Like a roguelike cross with an cross with a idle game doesn't sound horrible, and it has got decent reviews. So yeah. And finally, Cavern of Dreams. This one looks old as heck, and that's because it's been made to look old as heck. It's one of those classic retro-inspired platformers that may be doing a good job of it, or maybe going too far, because I don't remember it being that blurry when I was a kid. Either way, it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews and has been well received. In general, it seems like the latter half of the bundle is the more interesting part of it, and the start is just not great in comparison. No offense if it's Pacific Drive, but I think you should be in position 2 when there should be something else as a headliner. Wild Hearts and Tales of Kenzara both in Origin. That might be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So if it's a deal breaker for you, write it down in description down below. Because I know a lot of people are like, ooh, Origin? I'm the same. I'm the same. So yeah, overall it's a weird bundle, it seems. What happens when the Spotlight game isn't really a Spotlight? Like, it's not really the most expensive game in the bundle. What happens when multiple games just aren't on Steam? And like when a lot of the games have mixed or otherwise not too nice reviews. I guess it'll be up to you on whether you decide to choose this bundle, but we'll see what people say. For now, though, there is more that people are interested in, of course. There's also House Flipper. No, there's other bundles, what I mean. There's other bundles to look at. The first one of which is House Flipper. So apparently they've got a House Flipper bundle here. It has House Flipper, but it also has Train Yard Builder, Hairdresser Simulator, Builder Simulators, and the Tenants, which seems like a weird one. Like, because realistically, the rest of these are all like, House Flipper style simulations, but the Tenants is like a Sims-like, from what I can tell. I still haven't played it. I want to play this one. I keep on wanting it to come up on my mountain. I do own it, but it's like, yeah, the Tenants is actually something I'm interested in. It just seems like it's doesn't have the best reviews sometimes when I look over. Currently it's mostly positive and very positive, so that's good. It must have fixed itself. But yes, it's sort of like a management city builder. It's not really the same as the rest of these games. That being said, I mean, that's good, right? Alright. Next one is the Deck Building Bonanza. This one, I mean, everyone loves deck builders, let's be honest. That's what Humble thinks anyway, because they usually include one in every single Humble bundle, except for this one, I suppose. Decent selection of games. Definitely ones I haven't really done much with before. Fights in Tight Spaces, I do have a video of, and it was okay, actually. I didn't mind it. I did not mind at all. The rest of them, less so. But still, they're all indie deck builders, so you kind of know what you're getting here. Finally, have the Indie Allies collection. So a bunch of different, very unique and random games here. I wasn't too excited by this selection. I don't even remember if I bought this bundle or not. But it felt like a few of these games, like Enchanted is very much just a co-op game. And Princess Farmer is very much just a puzzle game. So it sort of felt like it wasn't necessarily a bundle that I really had too much to get out of. So I don't remember if I bought it or not. I don't think I did. Next, we have the Fanatical bundles, starting with the Build Your Own Simulator collection, which is mostly the crappy simulator games. The bus simulator, the firefighting simulator, the food truck simulator. But there are interesting things here too. Cat Cafe Manager. Which ones were they down the bottom? Cat Tales. Oh god, so many cat games. The Witch of Fern Isles. Oh, Sunnyside's gone, but it's a pretty mediocre game for what I can tell anyway. I did buy this bundle, I believe, for those 3 games, or not for those 3 games. I think I did buy this bundle. Or I was going to. Or I've bought a similar bundle in the past. I don't know, but I do own Sunnyside already. Then we have the Builder and Sandbox Sensations bundle. Once again, just a bunch of games here. I was most interested by the Cellar Settlers one. This No Place Like Home. I really enjoyed that when I played that. Summer in Mara is a Kickstarter I backed. It's okay. Then you've got the probably my favorite bundle. This Build Your Own Special Edition bundle, because often it's just a bunch of complete editions, which is great for things like Fallout, etc. Fallout, Frostpunk, Culture Simulator. The other problem with this game is it's sometimes hard to actually find anything to buy because a lot of them are already owned, right? So it's nice if you've got some things you can buy from it, but if you already own everything, it's sort of like fair, which is to be said for all bundles, but still. Next one is the Platinum Collection February. Decent selection. decent selection, but not the best. There's another Kickstarter game in mind there as well. And there's a bunch of other games. I do believe I did buy this one because I bought a couple of games in it. As you can see, I've got a lot of these games. Are there any real like highlights? I mean, the Pathfinder games are always interesting for one. I don't know any of these others enough to Afterimage, of course. I wanted Mercury Fallen. It looked really interesting. That was one of the only reasons I bought this game, this bundle. But yeah, it looked interesting, but it wasn't. Yeah. Diamond Collection. I'm going to probably buy. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Has some interesting looking games. You can see which ones I thought I wanted, which I didn't already own. Obviously, I was mainly avoiding the horror games and the games I already owned, which is, you know, as you'd expect. Then the Build Your Own Bento bundle. I always love this because some of these Japanese style games are often very, very expensive. That being said, there are still a few good options here in general. Coffee Talk 1 and 2. The developer of that, lead developer of that actually died, which is sad. But his games are great, so definitely worth checking out that as well. Apart from that, got a few random things here. I think I bought it Till Then through this, Long Gone Died. But most of these ones at the end. Through my bundle when I decided to buy a couple of games from it. So yes, I already own Coffee Talk. That otherwise would have done. And there were a couple of horrors I wasn't going to be touching, of course. Then we have the Build Your Own Debut bundle. Honestly, once again, a lot of horrors in here. I was still able to find a few things to buy at the end, as you can see. But overall, it's an underwhelming bundle. And finally, the Build Your Own Frenzy bundle. If you're wondering, why are there so many bundles? Why are there really so many bundles? It's because this was from a bundle fest, which means these bundles will end and will be gone, all in a short order of themselves. So if you like any of the looks of these bundles, make sure you go pick them up before they go away. And that's really it for today. Another short episode because, well, it is. Overall, I'll see. If Wild Hearts ends up being good, even on Origin, I'll be relatively happy. But in general, I'm not too excited about this bundle. I'll still do it because, you know, it's all new games for me. There's only one game I own already, which is Sir Whoopass. And that's co-op, which means I can give it to someone to play with, like, you know, Happy or something. Other than that, thank you for joining me for another Eruption of Shame. Tell me what games you're looking forward to in the Humble Bundle this month, and if you're even going to buy it. Because honestly, if I wasn't at 12-month, if I wasn't at my 12-monther, I might have serious thoughts about not canceling, but like skipping this month. So I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you, and I'll see you next time for another Eruption of Shame. Also, don't forget that the Members Mountain will have been released as well today to the public, because that's what happens. Make sure to watch that. If you want to help choose the next Members Mountain, don't forget you can join as a membership. It's quite cheap. I think I chose one of the cheaper options. Just sit there and tell me to play a game now and then. If you've ever been sitting there and be like, ugh, I just wish you'd play blank, then maybe join the membership and then we'll see what happens. Currently, the votes are public, but we'll get enough members. I plan on making the votes for Members Mountain be only for members. So that's the goal. So thank you. I'll see you next time, and goodbye.